Hi, everybody, and welcome to the RHAP B&B for the premiere of Survivor 43. We are back, and we are being better than ever, hopefully, as we talk about another season of Survivor. Another premiere has happened, another 2 hours gone, another one person gone, surprisingly so, and we have a lot to get into with this season opener with a truly fantastic group of guests. Of course, let me bring in somebody who's ready to get savvy or sweaty, either choice. Liana, Boraas. Liana, how are you?
I'm fantastic, but you know what, guys? I'm so sorry. I screwed up. I feel like I'm just gonna play my shot in the dark. Okay, just like let's not even talk about it. I'm just gonna do it. Okay, even though I'm an idol, that would definitely keep me safe if I were to play it, but that's fine.
Well,
aren't you supposed to tell me no? It's we need you, Liana. You're such a good podcaster. We're gonna keep you around.
I'm no Ellie, Liana. We learned that a long time ago. I don't look like Michelle Fitzgerald whatsoever. So
Shucks.
Unfortunately, the resemblance stops there. Well, listen, you invoked the name of probably the biggest mess magnet that showed up in this premiere of Survivor 43. And I think it's only so pertinent that we draw in the mess magnets themselves to break down this 2-hour premiere of Survivor. Always happy to welcome on our double guests for this new era of Survivor. And of course, these are the two lovely ladies at the helm of Mess Magnets, your one-stop shop for all things celebrity gossip, anonymous stories, etc., as well as various other podcasts on the RHAP network. It is the great Kirsten Mcginnis and Sasha Joseph. How you two doing?
So good.
Yeah.
Tattoos on, butt showing. I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Sun's out, butts out.
Buns out was right there.
No, I don't like that. That it makes me feel
Buns?
deeply uncomfortable to call an adult man's butt a bun.
No, you're calling your own.
Oh, mine? Then hell yeah, sun's out, butts
Exactly.
out, baby.
Interesting. Is there like a point in time when it crosses over where it's no longer acceptable to call a man's butt buns?
Like his bar mitzvah, his bun mitzvah.
Oh,
Yes,
no.
100%. That is the time.
Okay, that
And
makes
also,
sense.
before that point, you're not allowed to talk about it at all. So it's just never okay to talk about anyone's.
What if
butt.
you're posting your portrait, like Victor and?
Okay, you know what? That's when you're like, you take your portrait and you're like, sun's out, buns out, and it's smelly.
Ew.
Can't
All
start
right.
podcast.
Well,
It's
good
dark
thing you
game.
wrote Cody's future
Why am I
Instagram
here?
caption, Kirsten, for when he takes home the $1 million prize in December. But here we are talking about the premiere of Survivor 43, which, snuck up on us. You know, all four of us have been following a lot of reality TV over the summer. And so I think we're speaking on behalf of a lot of people when we said this sort of came out of nowhere. But here we are, 18 new contestants, 2 new hours of Survivor, starting off, which should be another really interesting season. First glance, Liana, what were your thoughts about the start we got to Survivor 43?
I think the thing that stood out to me the most was the editors. They heard our superlative for purple edits and they were like, not on my watch. It was this person's story, a confessional from, this person explaining their background and why they're here. I just feel like the editors really put in a special amount of effort to make sure that everybody got at least something. Is that true? Did we miss anybody that I just completely blacked out? Because that was like my feeling taking you away from this.
It was
Do we know
I
anything
believe
about Cassidy?
we know she's the fox. Remember, she's the one that wants to be cunning. I will say it's the 3rd season in a row. I believe actually 4th if you count Winners at War that did not have 0 confessionals in it. It also might have been just due to the extended runtime. I think the purplest person we got was probably Janine, who I think got a confessional, but she gets that Matt moment, right, where she talks about her father's experience watching the show. So yeah, I will give a lot of kudos to, and this is their 3rd 2-hour premiere with this type of format, right? They're really sort of figuring out the exact blueprint to have us get to know these people. And I think I'd imagine, Liana, that one boot also helped as well without having an entire other tribal council to edit around.
Yeah, that was my other thought, because I was convinced we were getting 2 tribal councils in this episode because that's what we gotten for the previous 2 seasons. So when we hadn't even run the immunity challenge yet, I was like, is this even happening? Like, what is going on right now? And because we only had one, so only had one story to tell about who was ultimately going to get the boot. So I think that also makes me question whether or not the 90-minute episode next week is going to be 2 boots, or if we're going to have some 2 boot later down the line, and we're just rolling with a singular boot for now.
A boot.
But I'm not sure.
Yeah, she got Mariah gets the boot, but I think her outfits get toot just due to pure fashion aesthetics alone.
Yes, it's a toot.
Sasha, thoughts about the premiere of Survivor 43?
It was great. I agree about getting to know folks because listen, and if we didn't get to know someone, oops, we forgot about you because they didn't tell us. But I am so sad about Mariah. I can't believe they did this to us. Cabler was right there. Just do something. So I'm very sad about Mariah leaving, but also I wasn't excited about this cast before the premiere, I will say, and then when I actually got to know them, this is going to be such a fun season. Lots of surprises, I will say, about each person where Cody hacking the challenge, who would have thought? Not me.
Not me.
Not me.
No, sometimes, it takes one of, I guess, the more simple-minded minds in the room, and with no offense to Cody, but I think definitely, I think we're not, other people go to Ivy League schools, right, and, like, have PhDs and such, and Cody's like, no, just put the flint in the hole, and it's like, yeah, sometimes that's all that really matters at the end of the day. It's not street smarts or book smarts, it's island smarts. Kirsten, thoughts on the premiere?
So once again, I've been really going into these last few seasons completely blind. Like I'll do any preseason drafts based on pictures and just kind of go it like because I feel like if I start liking anyone before the season, it feels wrong. So I just don't let myself look at it. Like I look back at articles as the season goes through. And so I knew people were feeling super positive about the cast. I knew obviously Owen, I've known for years. So I just instantly made him my winner pick. I do a fun office pool with my actual coworkers for Survivor. And there's 9 people in the pool. 7 chose Owen as their winner pick.
Whoa.
And the other 2 picked Cody. And I was talking to my coworker and she was like, I don't understand why anyone would pick Owen. Like, obviously Cody is like just going to win. And this was preseason. Like, this is before the premiere. And I was like, what? So, naturally I did win the draft last year by quite a lot. But I do have an unfair advantage. But yeah, so the premiere itself was fun. I do find like, the first challenge and then the savvy and sweat, like all of that, I am starting to get a little bit tired of that. I did like that the savvy was different this time. I liked that we had one person choosing each thing. I think it was a missed opportunity to go back to like during that initial challenge, having some sort of opportunity for an advantage, or at least hearing people talk about that as a possibility. I feel like we didn't hear much about, but other than that, it was enjoyable. I honestly don't think it needed to be 2 hours, but it was good.
No, I mean, I think that they at least like filled their time well. I mean, if it's like at least there wasn't tumultuous amounts of advantages. To your point, Kirsten, we got the one trip to Sack Rock, whatever you want to call it.
I'm sorry, what did you just call it?
Sack Rock.
Classic Sack Rock.
Because there's sacks, then you reach into it, and you have your little trading cards, right, that you flip over. That look like they're props from the Survivor board game that came out back in like 2001. Yeah, so at least they filled the time with that, with like time to get to know these players and have these personal moments instead of I do agree with you, Kirsten, that like it could have been fun. I think we did miss out on some of the kitschiness of the fake blood and mud around the advantage amulet last time. But what is interesting is that it does seem like, I mean, look at Jeff's opening narration, right? Look at the opening minutes of this. And I don't want to necessarily set up like false promises in the heads of anybody out there who are like, boo, modern Survivor, it's all advantages and twists and everything. But like the way that Jeff kept vocalizing this idea, right, of like, there are people from different walks of life that have to build a society and simultaneously vote each other out is incredibly old school. And again, outside of that trip, like we didn't see anybody searching for idols or advantages. I'm sure they were. In fact, Mariah told me in her exit interview that they were. But I think that the ability to not focus on that makes me hopeful that, especially after 41 and 42, which were fun, but sort of had a bevy of things happening all at the same time, I'm hopeful they sort of like scaled it back from beta to alpha release, and we're able to say, okay, let's make it a little more bare bones, like the husks of the bones that they were sorting around to make the largest number, and be able to move forward, Sasha, with like a simpler game. That's what I'm hoping, and I'm sure I'm vocalizing that on behalf of a lot of people here.
Yeah, I agree because we got to see Sammy show up in that way, which again, I love that Sammy was like, oh, I want to be seen as the bronze guy and that's it. but actually I'm really smart. I would have quit if you asked me to do math. Immediate airlift. It's a wrap for me.
You don't need to bring in the helicopter. You weren't medevac.
No,
It's
no,
not
I would
even real
fake the heart
math.
attack. Like I would, because what else can I do? That's embarrassing to go out on math. And if you're like, hey, do you want to do math? No, just I somehow either the waves take me away or something. So I don't know.
You're like Virginia Woolf style, walk into the
Yes.
ocean with rocks in your pocket.
Correct.
I'm imagining Sasha like faking a heart attack, and then like Dr. Joe comes out and like puts like an EKG on her, and she's fine. Like she can stay, no problem.
No, like I don't know. Somehow I'd be medevac is my point. Or and then seeing Ryan and doing the X, right? Again, I feel like we were able to see players in a different light with Sweat and Savvy, which I just didn't, like I said, I personally didn't expect to see. And that one was genius. To me, it was mind-blowing, genius, because again, my brain just doesn't work that way.
I like it when we can understand how players think. And I think that choices are always a great way to understand how they're going to play the game. So even like, for example, I noticed this when Owen was reading the clue for the Savvy challenge thing. He was like, and your time begins when you flip over the, like, he started to drag it out. So it's like not just the decisions, but it's also like seeing, and you like start to notice like those little things, which I think is really interesting. So I'm happy that they're included. I think when you don't get the personal side of things, it starts to overwhelm. But the fact that we got a good mix of both, I think was good. I do think, like, in terms of strategy, obviously not a lot going on. These people just met each other. It's been 3 days, right? So they're all going to be like, yeah, we're totally good. I love you so much. Oh my God, we're all so good. So there's not going to be anything intricate. So if we're going to get the strategy through the advantages and the Sack Islands of it all, then I'm okay with that being
We need
included.
a better name. I'm sorry, we need a better name right now. We cannot call it Sack Island.
Sack Island.
We can't do
baby.
it.
I
Like,
think
yeah, of
that's
course.
what Coco's Beach is called because of Ryan.
Oh no.
Yes. Please.
Actually, so wasn't Sack Island the name of James when he was going up that wall and his pants fell down?
Pull up.
That was Suns Out Buns.
Now that's Suns Out. Now that, well, Bun or Butt though? How old is he?
That's
I
fun.
mean,
Sorry, it was
listen.
too cute to be anything else.
I felt so bad for this. This poor guy is like literally getting dragged through a challenge, and then his pants fall down. Not like he could have not had his pants in the challenge. That's fine. People run in their underwear all the time, but like they were around his ankles. Like,
Well, and then you just hear someone go, "Pull your pants up."
That's what I'm saying. That was my
Ryan, yeah.
favorite. That's so embarrassing.
Now,
I would die.
I watched the premiere with my boyfriend who is not a Survivor fan. So I think this was like one of very few episodes of Survivor he's ever watched in his life. And at the beginning in the first challenge, when they had to run into the water, he was like, why are they all wearing their full clothes to do this? Why didn't any of them strip down to underwear to run into the water? Now they're all going to be wet. I was like, they were probably told they're not allowed to take their clothes off.
Yeah, I would bet that as well.
But he was horrified.
About the full clothes in the ocean.
Yeah, about just being like soaking wet in the
Yeah, I mean, imagine wet jeans. Like,
Ew.
could,
oh no, yeah, Rupert described
wet
that for
yeah.
us back in 2003. It
Yes.
is not very good. Though I don't think nobody's in jeans this year, right? Like maybe Gabler.
Oh, James is not in jeans. Well, whatever the hell.
Oh no,
those
I think
pants were.
maybe Ryan was in jeans. I'm not sure.
Okay,
Listen,
well,
no one's looking at Ryan's jeans, as I said.
We can go back and take a look at that, deep look at that. But no, the thing about the pants coming off, James's pants coming off also, I couldn't decide if it was better or worse that he was covered in mud, because he was covered in mud. So it kind of like obfuscated the fact that his pants were off, because like everything was just sort of like poopy brown, but it also was poopy brown.
So, well, it also looked like he had no genitals then. So I feel like that's even worse, right? Of like,
Ken doll, baby.
Yeah, like you're a eunuch.
Stone down there because he's got no stone.
Oh, please,
Good
God.
start to
Poor
the season.
James.
Smooth Stone. Is that where they went to draw the
yes,
idols?
Smooth Stone Island.
I think we need to workshop it.
It's not particularly smooth, I didn't think. Hold on, let me see if I can.
No,
let me
it's
No,
pull
apparently
it was
pretty
not. It was
heavy.
jagged as hell.
It's jagged edge.
Oh, jagged little rock.
jagged as hell.
I don't know.
But
Life is hard.
I don't disagree with you, Kirsten, to a certain extent, where I think they have now sort of cracked the formula of how they want to start off these new era seasons, and I think that is both good and bad. It's good in that we did not feel like we did in the 41 premiere, right? Like, so overwhelmed by so many new things.
Mhm.
On the other hand, you could also see it get a little repetitive now that, yeah, they are changing things up subtly, but like, now we know they're going to have an opening challenge. Now we know there's going to be a sweat versus savvy. There's going to be a journey. And I think they know that as well. And it's interesting to also see like the various strategies or lack thereof that people use to approach that. But yeah, I could understand why being formulaic in general is something you want to employ when you're producing some of these types of shows. And so I would imagine that, like, we liked it the first couple times. Third time may not necessarily be the charm. I'm assuming it's going to happen in 44 as well, since they were filmed back to back. But I could definitely understand that concern from a structural perspective.
I've shared Sack Rock. Okay, so
Oh no.
what are we gonna? Okay, so what did I feel like Steven and Rob had a name for it, like Card Shark Island or something? So there were cards.
Cards
I
Does
know
that sound familiar?
Peridium called it Risk Rock, I think.
Risk
Oh yes.
Rock.
Okay. I can get behind that.
Well, he did go to the same high school as Owen, so I don't know if that gives him any
Oh.
extra level of authority. It is kind of tough to say Risk Rock because we're going to Risk Rock.
Rock Risk sounds kind of like Rox Roy. So
Oh,
now I'm
no.
concerned.
Rock's Roy Island.
So is there something about your wife that you now have to say when you go to this island?
Yeah, exactly. Or Roxroy was just living out there because remember he was out on exile and didn't want to go back into
He
the
was
game.
thriving in exile. Yeah, if you climb to the very peak of that rock, you'll find Roxroy with
He's
a fire and a camp. He's
Yeah,
still there.
still
some
there.
some say he's still there to this day.
His spirit
How
never
did
left
that
the
rock?
island.
How did that rock even get there though? It must have fallen.
Oh, they never put it there.
No.
Oh my god. Well, I have to assume that it's the type of thing like water levels have probably varied a lot in that area, so it's just erosion over time, baby. Science.
Do you think they'll have to eventually climb on top of the rock, or do you think it's always going to be at like the base of it?
This
no
rock
way.
looks like they would actually need to fully like climb and have like someone belaying them and like full equipment, which is not really in the spirit of Survivor.
Okay,
But I mean, that's only like what half as high as what Angelina had to climb in David versus Goliath with the ladder. So
yeah, well, I mean, then that was very harrowing. So, okay, so it's like a rock perched on top of another rock. Does that matter, or should we focus more on the cards?
it's an open-faced rock sandwich.
Island.
Oh, okay. A deconstructed rock is what you're telling me.
Deconstructed rock. What I've made for you today is my take on minimalist shale.
Yes. Oh my god.
With
Gordon
some
Ramsay would love
greenery
this.
on top, just
That's
as a
microgreens.
garnish. Yes.
Microgreens. Yes. Urban
Microgreens.
foraged microgreens.
Oh
I
my
can't
god,
wait.
yes.
Very
Okay.
organic.
What about like a bag bay? Is that something?
Oh, 'cause
Bag
it looks
bay.
like a handbag.
Well, no, because they
Bag?
they were
No.
reaching
They're
into
gonna
bags.
get the bag.
Yeah, they're reaching into
Oh.
bags to pick out who gets what.
To me, when you say cards, all I could think of was Cards Against Humanity, because this is very against everything I believe.
What if it's Secure the Bag Island?
Oh.
Ooh.
Or
Ooh.
Fumble the Bag Island.
Yeah, exactly. Depending.
It's Bag Island, and you can either
Yes.
secure or fumble
Bag
the bag
Island.
every week.
All right, Sack
like
Island
it.
it is.
I'm glad we
That's where
came
we
to that
started.
unanimous
Started.
conclusion. Oh my god. All right. Well, let's start getting into some larger thoughts from the premiere. And let's start actually, we'll bring in our predictions right now because I think we could parse a lot of what happened, particularly on Baka, not Baga Island, through the person who ended up going here in Mariah. So Mariah, quite literally the most colorful character, I would say, of the preseason. Certainly had people up in arms, including Sasha, who is still, her arms are still up in the air upon hearing that Mariah has gone. Sasha, give me your thoughts about what we got out of Mariah in this one episode.
So much, right? She's there to make friends because we want to get pizza after, which I
And coffee.
appreciate. Yes, and coffee.
Mm.
I just want to say I appreciate it. It's not the strategy I would ever use to going on this island. I'm not there to make friends, but I appreciate it because I think there's a kernel of truth, right, in the social game of it all. So that's number one, I have to say. I appreciate her profession as well. Shout out teachers. And I just liked her on the island. I don't believe she was the weakest. I think that's nonsense. That's fake news. That's a horrible conspiracy theory peddled by all of these yellows of the world. And I'm over it and I won't stand for it because in my second watch, right, for the B&B, our girl made it no problem over obstacles.
Yep.
Did you see her leap like a freaking gazelle? Like she jumped half the length of the balance beam. She was like, you know what? I'm not gonna make it. Let me just dive.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It was almost as equivalent as the leaps they were making to make her look weak. Okay.
So so I had the exact same thought. So I was like, okay, maybe they showed her like there's something else going on that we didn't see. The only thing we saw was her trying to hack at a coconut and not doing a good job at that. That's the only time that I saw in the episode that she displayed any element of weakness, especially relative to the other members of the tribe.
Janine got stuck under the log for 7
Thank
years
you.
and then couldn't even cut the rope with a machete. Like, if we're talking about challenge strength, it's clear that Janine was less strong than Mariah. And I do worry that, like, I don't even know. Like, people are just, like, looking and just seeing, like, oh, I assume this person is strong based on how they appear versus this person seems to be weak rather than the actual facts. Meanwhile, also on the table mace thing, Gabler was doing nothing.
Man couldn't
making
even
Sammy
lift
mad.
anything.
Sammy's like, I need you to help me with this. And he's like, I am. No, you're not. Get out of town.
Yeah, I was expecting the double bluff of like, no, Gabler, we're not voting you out. Don't worry about it. You know, like definitely don't play your shot in the dark. But then taking that as the opportunity to at least split the votes.
Damn.
Right? Because yeah, exactly. Why would you not at least throw 3 votes, right? Tell Gabler to vote for Mariah. Say, yes, we're voting for Mariah. Mariah votes for Gabler. Just throw 2 votes extra, you know, or like 4, whatever. I don't know. We Sasha just discussed. We're not here to do math, okay? We're going to medevac from the island if we have to do math.
We've aged out.
Thank you.
The point is that you could have tried to get rid of that liability.
That's my question.
But he's a mess. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like right now, he poses very little threat to anybody, specifically from Ellie. And I will very much give credit to Ellie for this decision. Ultimately, that I think while the weakness excuse is, I agree, a little BS, and it's unfortunate, but we have to, you know, the reasons that are assigned on the island end up becoming the lowercase t truth instead of the capital T truth. The fact of the matter, at least from my perspective, was she had a closer relationship with Gabler.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, yeah, I just want to keep that in the game. And, you know, it seemed like Mariah was close with her and apparently wanted to go to the end with the women. But I think Ellie was about keeping her options open at that moment and being like, okay, we want to keep Gabler in there. I'm not sure about the Owen thing because, again, we saw obviously the sequence, right, of the, oh, yeah, we can do this sort of like, we'll get coffee sometime. Very soft promise with, oh, yeah, I'll tell you if your name's coming up, but I won't do anything about it. But I think, you know, when it comes to the Gabler side of things, he just seems like, while a loose cannon, he's not necessarily the big War of 1812 cannon. You know, he's a super soaker by comparison.
Oh, damn.
And so it's like,
God.
okay, I can get a handle on this, that even if he does fire at me, all I do is I just get a little bit of wet in my full clothes instead of like getting a full blast to the face.
First of all, disgusting. You're in timeout, Michael. So here's my concern with Gabler, and it is purely selfish, okay? I feel like Gabler is like the Brad, or like someone who people are gonna be like, oh, he's so goofy, I love him. Meanwhile, I'm irritated the entire time he's on my screen, and so I just like don't want that, and I want him to be gone for my enjoyment of the show.
Is it because he said he hatched his children, Kirsten? Is that it?
No, it's everything
That's
about
hilarious.
him. He's just not for me. He's just not for me. Like, he's a heart valve specialist, but he's acting a fool, and I don't like that.
He's breaking your heart.
Oh my God.
As if he could ever have the power.
I would also say I agree with everything you said, Mike, about Ellie's right, like need to keep Gabler. I don't think that you're wrong, and I think that's fine. But then just be honest. Sammy was honest and said, "Hey, Owen and I don't talk. I've talked with everyone else, so I want to vote Owen." Fine. I think that makes 100% sense. Perception is reality out there. That's number one. Secondly, why keep an idol? You see what I'm saying? To me, that's more of the question. Maybe because Ellie was like, he's so malleable that he'll just maybe play the idol on me next tribal. That's the only reason why I see not flushing the idol, because I'm not even saying to vote him out. Well, for myself, yes, but I'm saying for the tribe, I understand why you wouldn't vote out, someone that's so quickly willing to change their whole game for you. I understand that piece. All I'm saying is, why not flush the idol so that you're all on equal playing field?
I am extremely risk averse. And the chaos that Gabler radiates, I could never keep that around. I would just be like, oh my God, what's he going to do next? My anxiety would be through, not the roof because there's no roofs, but like through the ceiling, sky stuff.
I don't know, I hope it's been 3 days. I hope they build a roof in that shelter at that point.
Ew, I mean, who
I
knows
saw
how
one
long it'll
collapse.
last. Yeah.
Oh yeah, remember that, and also Justine almost like scooping herself for a hot
Yes.
second.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Don't you never? Oh no.
So
Well, yeah, that's the
Yeah,
thing too.
I
Like,
don't
you
know.
want predictable people around you. Like, that's the way that you can optimize your
Mhm.
strategy. If you don't know how the other people are going to act, that ties your hands with regards to the types of strategy that you can employ. And so, just Gabler seems like a bit more of a wild card. Like Mariah, on paper, people might think is a wild card. But everything we've seen from her is that she's relationship focused, super loyal,
Yeah.
and she's going to move forward from that perspective. Gabler, you don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah, but I think if you're talking
Oh.
about wild card, I think he's very cards open. I mean, when he comes back
Yeah.
from Bag Island, he's like, "Hey, everybody, here's exactly what happened, and I'm just gonna go around the corner and shout to my heart's content when I get the idol, so that you all know what's happening." I
Okay,
think that
let's
his
say
Go
you
ahead.
make the merge with that though, right? And Gabler's out there being like, "Hey guys, let me tell you everything that happened on our tribe." I just and that's maybe thinking way too far ahead, right? Okay, so let's say you keep Gabler for another, round or two, but still, I don't know. I just like my heart can't deal with that. It's so chaotic.
Oh
Yeah,
well,
no, but
I have a guy. I have a guy you can see
Wait.
for that,
As
Liana.
someone that likes chaos, I will say, and is more likely to keep chaotic people around, I think that if you can harness the chaos, right? Think about that cult leader personality. If you
Mhm.
can be like, you listen to me and me only, which I can see Gabler, being that kind of person under Ellie, like, as like every movement needs a first follower, right? And that's what I can see Gabler being, where he's almost like, okay, Ellie, you saved me from being dumb. Help me out. And then if you can, if I think this is a big if for Ellie, is that if she can harness this storm,
Mhm.
then I think it's good because she is a clinical psychologist. Like, I'm assuming she's met people that maybe aren't the most stable, and maybe she knows how to harness that. Yes,
Oh my God.
stabler. Yes, she's trying to make him go from Gabler to stabler. Okay, we're trying.
So I think I love this call that Gabler might be the first Scientologist, if you will.
Oh,
No.
that's a lot. This is a lot. Sasha, should we turn mess magnets into a cult?
I mean, we've been trying.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought that was already part of the agenda. I
Leave
just
us
kind
a
of
review
assumed.
so we get the
Yeah,
we get
We're
the
actually
outfits
only
for
2
them.
away over on mess magnets.
To go back to Gabler's hatching children, for me, the biggest thing was actually when he said kids were being created while we were watching Survivor, which like that really got me. I don't want to know what's going on in the Staber Gabler bedroom because if it's beds are rocking during Survivor, don't come a knocking.
Well,
Yeah,
and then they're hatching.
You also know if he were doing that, you would hear him from houses and houses
God.
away.
Oh my God.
What if
he
we
does not
found-
look like
wait,
that? He does
what-
not give that vibe at all.
What if we found out at the end of the season that Gabler does not have any human children, but he has like pet lizards, and he really meant that his children hatched,
Or chickens.
or chickens, or
Yeah.
snakes.
My feather babies.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Cute.
Yeah, because otherwise the man is, and I do think that most of his behavior in this episode gave me undeniable proof that he is not of this world, that he came from some sort of galaxy far, far away and just got bleeped onto the planet in 2000. It was like, yes, all right, I will apply for the show. What do humans say? When my children were created and they hatched, we were watching Rupert come across our screens. He has just the oddest way of saying things, him and Cody. We'll see if there is a situation where the two of them end up meeting. I think we've already missed that opportunity for Gabler because he went to Bag Island. But like the two of them have some of the oddest phrasings that I've heard from Survivor contestants in quite some time.
Yeah, it definitely is a like blink and you miss it sometimes too with their quotes. Like, wait, I'm sorry, did he just say that? Like, did he just say hatch? And then I wait for Scally to post a meme with Gabler hatching children. I'm like, okay, he did say hatch.
His loved one's visit is just a bunch of farm animals showing up on the beach.
Like a Noah's Ark, if you will.
Exactly.
They can't bring on any of his livestock, so they just go find like the goats that have been present on other.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that would be his loved one. It's like his Mark the chicken.
Yeah, because again, you can't really just import livestock. Like that's a pretty complicated.
For emotional support animal, you can. So actually, they could just. His wife could be like, "This is my emotional support chicken, and I have to bring it."
Jesus.
You can't tell me nothing.
That's what I say every time I walk onto the plane with KFC.
It's my emotional support chicken.
You know what? Fair enough.
It's fried,
but it's not. It's not alive. But it still supports me emotionally.
I mean, they didn't specify.
Exactly.
You do you, Mike.
Someone's like, I brought my husband's emotional support chicken to the family visit. They open up a bucket of KFC so they can have a full meal. Look at that.
Oh, I would cry.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Liana, so what did you think about Mariah in the preseason? Read off the prediction that you made before Wednesday came around.
All right. So I was nervous for her. I felt like she was somebody who could go deep, but just based on the tribe breakdown, I did feel like she could end up being the odd one out. So I had her in my preseason prediction making the pre-jury. Unfortunately, I said that she would make early social bonds with her tribe, but as Baka loses the first few immunity challenges, the relationships aren't enough to keep her safe. We get as an educator confessional, which I don't think we got, so sad. I said that she would look for an idol, but is spotted immediately because of her outfit. I said her ally would be Janine, her enemy would be Sammy, and she would have 12 confessionals.
Oh yeah. So we should add something Liana and I did off the record in between our last podcast and this one. We decided to add on confessional accounts onto it as well to see if there was an actual metric that we can determine what we're closer on rather than just the words. So I was very similar in terms of the fate of poor Mariah Young, who would definitely be young for the game in terms of number of days. I had her going pre-jury as well. I wrote, on night one, she tries to keep the tribe spirit up by regaling them with stories. She also keeps them up at night, which they're not happy about. She'll make an early bond with Owen, which will cause her to sit back and not need to make connections with anyone else. Unfortunately, when Baka loses their first challenge, Gabler will lead the charge to take out Mariah as a weak link. And unfortunately, even her closest allies join them. This is, I guess, a bit of a call forward. I said of all the early boots, she will get talked about the most on the mat for weeks to come. Call it the Wurtenberger effect. So I guess TBD on that one. But I said her closest ally would be Owen. Her enemy would be Gabler. Confessionals, I put 4, as in drop the 4, put up a picture of me, which was one of her quotes from the preseason. Now, I did do things by hand this time around. I did not do the randomly generated Brant steal for the outcome, but I did want to bring something over from Survivor 42. I did randomly generate a phrase via AI for each one of these contestants. Mariah's phrase is, as you consider all the possible ways to improve yourself and the world, you notice John Travolta seems fairly unhappy.
Oh, what the insight.
I do think that's factually accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, understandable. Olivia Newton-John did leave us several weeks back, and I think he's still,
well, he's also going
from the loss.
He's been trying to quit Scientology for years.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll become a Scientologist.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we have a group for you?
He is. Yeah.
Sasha, do you have any like immediate instincts on who you think is more accurate?
I mean, I feel like it's Mike.
See, I feel like it's Liana because Mike's like went out of his way to say that Mariah and Owen would have the closest bond, and she voted for him. So,
Well, that's
okay,
because it
that's
was her.
fine.
They had that conversation.
No, she didn't know it was her. She didn't. She was blindsided.
True. But Gabler knew.
Gabler didn't
Gabler
lead
being her
shit.
Yeah,
enemy.
but let me also say that Liana said that Sammy would be the biggest enemy.
I said ally would be Janine though, and I feel like Janine was going to bat for her.
Yeah, that's true. But you know when
that's
because it's
true.
because Mike said all her allies would turn on her. I was like, correct. And I think Gabler, those two things stood out the most to me about Mike. But
I just think it's
the
Liana.
math
They
one.
each get a point.
What
Yeah.
about girl power,
Yeah.
Sasha? What happened to
Yeah.
girl power?
No
Wow.
girls with these
No.
girls.
What if I told you I was smooth down there? Would that help?
Oh my god!
No.
Oh my god!
I was full
gets all the
Jamesing it.
points.
Yay, thank you.
Can we actually give Liana
appreciate
double
that.
points?
Yes, I
Yeah.
will take both of the points.
Oh my
Thank
God.
you. Yes. Great day.
Listen,
Great
I will
day.
say though, when the math is happening, I know Sasha, we're gonna bring in the helicopter soon. I was surprised with how close I was there with 4. I think it's because I figured that that Pocket would be losing quickly and Mariah would probably be the first boot. I thought there was a
exactly.
pretty non-zero chance she would have gone in this episode.
Yeah, I made a mistake when because I Googled, I was like, okay, I needed just a general ballpark of the number of Survivor confessionals, per person. Let me see what the early boots get. Let me see what the later boots get. So I just Googled Survivor confessional count, popped up an Excel spreadsheet of somebody who had done the confessional count. I looked through the counts. I went, okay, great, went back. And then I was like, yeah, that's actually a lot of confessionals. It was the freaking Winners at War confessional counts that I pulled from for my example.
no.
So
That explains a lot.
This
Yeah.
is, this is
Token
another
situation all over
125
again. I know.
fire tokens for Tyson.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But
And he deserved them.
I want to talk about a little bit more stopping amongst the other 2 tribes. Because we were talking about Cody. I think we have to talk about Vessi a little bit, which, there were some talks about messy Vessi, I think, in the preseason. It seems like right now there seems to be a 4v2 going on should they go to tribal council, but you never know. Time can certainly change things. Sasha, did you have any thoughts about what was going on with the Red Tribe over the course of this premiere?
I love Jesse. What a story. And can I just say the salesperson versus salesperson violence going on this tribe? I'm so confused. I don't understand. Well, you're like, oh, Cody, you're fun. I need to have you on screen, to when it took a real U-turn of just like going at Justine and wouldn't stop, where I was like, you're doing a lot of projecting. Number one, chill the F out. So this tribe's dynamics are all over the place, where you talk to one set and they're like, yeah, we're in it, we're good. And then the same set goes and, change out one person. This is the actual crew and this is our alliance. So to me, it felt a little bit more fluid, but not in like a fun way. Like it felt very gossip. I don't even know gossipy is the right word, but they felt very like at each other already.
Well, and I do think also like for the salesperson on salesperson violence, like if you're selling elevators, there's really only 2 to 3 companies for elevator options. So someone needs to buy an elevator, like their company probably already has like contract with like Thyssen Crab, right? Whereas like if you need cybersecurity, probably more options. So I do think that Cody probably doesn't have to be as good of a salesperson to succeed in that field.
It's also a bit of a necessity, right? It's like, if you don't have an elevator, what? The stairs? Like, you could choose between a lot of different things with tech sales. Elevators are kind of a needed thing nowadays in a building.
Cody's behavior was also giving, Cody doth protest too much. Like the fact that he was going in so hard on sales. It was like, okay, either you dated a salesperson who completely destroyed you, or you are projecting in some way.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it was
a Mr. and
too
Mrs.
much.
Smith situation, but it's elevator salespeople.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, one sells elevators, one sells escalators.
Oh my gosh,
God,
star-crossed
I love that.
lovers. This really is a Shakespearean reference.
Otis
Yes.
BTK elevators.
Yeah.
It's fine.
We're giving Cody too much credit.
Yeah,
he's doing so much. But
He's
the other
doing
thing
so
as well
much.
is like, again, if we're talking about Mariah and like unfortunately making instinctual impressions just based on the way they look, I'm not gonna look at Cody who has a mullet and lightning bolt shaved to the side of his head of like, that man sells elevators for a living. It seems like he doesn't even embody that spirit. But yeah, I love him going in so hard on this idea of like, God, aren't salespeople the worst?
He was selling it.
Yeah,
Literally, not a great salesperson. I have
But
to
Not a
say.
great pitch.
But I
if I'm
also
being
fully
honest.
expect next episode for him to be like, pull a Tony, right? Where like initially he's like, oh, I can't work with Sarah. I don't want another cop. She has the cop star. Oh, wait, I
Mhm.
can bring in Sarah and let her know that I'm a cop. So now we're going to work together. I could absolutely see Sales R Us happening
You
next
think he's
episode.
a Tony?
I mean, I think he's like, he very much has that wild man spirit.
Yeah, the erratic energy, the energy.
But that's like a once in a generation that works.
I feel like it's more Game Changers Tony than either of his
Yes.
winning seasons.
Just running off into the woods.
Yeah,
I mean, it's also very Tiger King in that I do not think he'll ever be able to
Not
financially
Tiger
recover,
King.
considering that he already spent the money that he's going to assumingly
Oh my
win.
god.
Okay,
He does
Listen, as
how
someone
much
that's
money-
met the Tiger King, it's maybe not true.
What?
Okay, wait, but how much money do you think that he has spent already? And what do you think he bought? I think he bought a boat and a hot tub.
I think he bought a boat for sure.
Interesting.
I don't know, 'cause
don't
he- 'cause
believe
he-
boat.
Because he lives in Hawaii, right? Like, doesn't he know enough people who have boats? Why would he feel like he
Yeah.
needed to have one?
Yeah, I think it's like a really expensive surfboard and
Bitcoin.
Yeah, listen,
He
and
invested in
Oh, yeah.
NFTs. He seems like a little bit of a
I
crypto
bought
bro.
75K in Dogecoin.
Yeah, I have a
To
lot
the
of bored
moon.
apes.
Yeah, it could be that. So if they first of all, I'm very excited for them to go to the tribal council because I do think it is going to be incredibly chaotic. I think that this war that we're seeing start to bubble, and not even bubble, like straight up boil.
Yeah.
I think it's going to overflow the pot. I don't understand how Cody doesn't go home. But like again, we saw Gabler stay, so maybe that chaotic energy, people are willing to like, no, it's fine as long as we feel like he can be controlled. I think that's the question: is whether or not there are people on that tribe that feel like Cody can be controlled. Because we got to see Jesse talk a lot about like, look, I'm just gonna kind of like lay back a little bit. All right, I'm not in the business of doing any of that. So let's just maybe get rid of the chaos. I don't know. Dwight also seems like a very level-headed player. We didn't see a ton from NECA, at least in terms of her strategy, but I could see her also sort of following the same path. So yeah, well, I don't think it's a long road for Cody, but he's gonna be blazing hot while he's on it.
Well, the other thing though is that you mentioned Dwight. Dwight does not have a vote, and everybody knows it. And that is always a double-edged sword as well. We experienced this with the idle phrases last time, where some people might be like, okay, if you can't vote, you're of no use to me. Let me get rid of you. For some people, it's okay, you have no vote, so you have no power to wield.
Yeah.
Great, we're going to keep you around. But so I could really see him going either way. I did love his moment where he like is yelling at himself from a month ago, being like, why did you just watch YouTube videos of how to build a shelter? Why didn't you actually do this stuff yourself, you idiot?
So cute. I really, really like Dwight. And he had, even just the way he was wearing his buff, I really like. Protecting his hair, this whole tribe I really like for the most part. I think Jesse is gonna be one to watch for sure. I think just like Jesse has a lot of experience with like social hierarchies and stuff from his past, but also he's a political science PhD. And I have long thought that a sociology background would be really, really valuable in Survivor. And and poli-sci is just specialized sociology specifically about power structures and how people organize themselves. So I'm really excited to see him execute that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if we've really had anybody with like a sociology background on the show before.
They don't make a point about it. Only psychologists. Yeah. Psychologists are like, oh, I know how your brain works, so that means I can control you. And I'm like, I think a social psychologist or like an organizational psychologist would be a lot more useful than like a therapist in general, but
Yeah, it's very true because as someone that has minors in both, I will say I think sociology feels way more accessible in that way because you're not one as scary, right? As like a psychologist where immediately the other person knows, oh, they might be analyzing me or they're trying to game me, versus I think a person that studies social sciences, it's just easier to connect to people because so you're making sweeping generalizations, but usually you're not wrong about how they're going to interact with you. And I believe that Jesse so easily fits in with everyone.
Yeah.
That's another piece. And I think he's, I don't know, I don't want to jinx and say winner pick, but listen, cross everything, because the way he moved about the tribe, right? Where he was able to be guys with Cody and do like, yeah, the girls are definitely getting together, da da da. But then and I was like, what the hell, Jesse? I thought we were friends. And then flip over to the girls and was like, yeah, they're doing too much. I get it. Which is why I think he has a huge advantage over everyone else. So just one to watch, I feel.
Well, I think it's really interesting that, in my opinion, in each of these tribes, there is one sort of like social hub person. So it's Jesse on Vessi, it is Carla on Coco, and it's Ellie on Baca. And I don't think it's coincidental, like given the careers and also journeys of these three people, right? Again, Ellie has this understanding of human behavior, but also has the ability to like work with a bunch of different people, as she talks about in some of her worst moments. You just really eloquently put, Sasha, like why Jesse's studies are able to put him in a really great situation to vibe with a bunch of different people. Also, given the way he grew up on sort of like both sides of the tracks. Carla, someone very similar who has experience in both academia, but also maybe in more lower income households, and also has a lot of things in common with people like Jesse, with people like, with Gio, with people like Ryan. So I think it's really interesting how that ends up being the case with each one of these three tribes. I can't really think of a season in this new era where we have already established that so early on, but I would imagine if those other two tribes go to tribal council, we're going to get a similar type of thing as we got this episode, right? Of Jesse and Carla each being like, I'm the one that can make the decision here. I figure out where the vote goes.
Yeah, and I feel like you have to be masters in code switching, and I think that's what these folks are really good at. I mean, Jesse literally probably had no choice, right, to go from his, and I'm again making a generalization, but we did hear a little bit about his story, going from where he started to a PhD, right? It's just the amount of work that must take for him to be himself and code switch, just because if you're a person of color in these situations, you know what I'm talking about. But I think that also that ability, I think, is helping all of these people to be that social hub.
I think I mean, I think especially for going into academic and higher institutions, I'm sure all of them had to deal with a ton of crap. Like I know they did. But I just want to add that we were talking about them, but I think that there is another profession that also could play a role. And that is the one of student / pet cremator / business owner hybrid. Because that, talk about a set of skills, from burning a Shih Tzu all the way to going to class.
Okay, no, obviously, pet cremator as a job is going to pop on Survivor. It's going to help in casting, all of those things. But just the way, he's like, yeah, I'm sure people hear that and assume I just grab a dog by the legs and toss it in the fire. And I was like, I assure you, Sammy, that nobody thinks that.
Not one person.
Now I think that.
Yeah, now I kind of think that. But I hope that that's not how I mean, I don't want to think about the future without my pets, but I should hope that when their time comes, that they are lovingly, burned, not thrown into a fire.
Yeah, it's not like you're shoveling coal on the Titanic.
Oh my god,
toss them in. But yeah, Sammy is so interesting because I he impressed generally, and the fact that I definitely thought that Gabler was, and Gabler, I think himself thought he was going to be the big camp provider, but Sammy is the one starting the fire in 2 strokes. Sammy's solving the bone puzzle. Sammy is the physically strongest person on the tribe, and I think he actually has a good head on his shoulders. Liana, what do you think about him lying about his age, aging himself up a few years? Is there really a difference for you between 22 and 19?
Yeah, I think definitely there's a difference, especially because for a lot of people, they go through university or even just that transition of, coming off of being a teen to being in your late 20s. I think that there's a lot of emotional maturity that occurs during those times. So yeah, I think definitely for him, I think it was a smart move. I mean, he's still going to be young, but he's not going to be like 19 young, right? Because you hear teen, you're like, oh, you're a teenager, right? And so that distinction, I think making that is really important. My only concern for him is that if they go on a reward and he's got milk or something, it's like,
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Hasn't the show done it before where it's like if they know you're lying about your age, they won't expose you, but it's like you can't drink. Like just say you don't drink.
Well, listen, he does go to BYU, so he could have been like, well, listen, in my Mormon upbringing, we're not allowed to drink at rewards. And so they'll just be like, okay, we understand. You don't need to drink at all.
not a problem.
Yeah.
Let's go to Coco for a hot second. I think definitely the most stable, not stabler tribes of the three. Kirsten, you have any thoughts about what's going on this blue tribe?
Well, I mean, obviously because they just crushed the challenge. Like we got a little bit of their early camp life, but not. I feel like we didn't get as much from Coco. Am I wrong in that? I feel like we just didn't get as much.
We know essentially the three women want to work together.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll be more successful at Baka. But we also know that Carla, Gio, and Ryan are in an alliance as well. So that's basically the dynamics we know about it, Coco.
And then Jay and Carla also have their, or no, Jay and Lindsay. Who is Jay paired with?
James and Lindsay.
Or James is what I mean. Yeah,
the good vibes. Philly people got to stick together.
Yes.
I got such good vibes from Lindsay from this episode, and like I went in thinking I would like her. And I was right. The way she talks about Survivor, the way she talks about like her life, like, you know what, I've loved Survivor longer than my career, longer than my husband, longer than my children. Like it's just been so present for her. I just feel like positivity radiates from her. She's so excited to be there. And I mean, she's not the center of strategy, but I think she's far from like being on the outs. And so I'm really excited to watch her. I feel like we don't know Gio that well. I'm really Kate. Do you think Gio and Cody know each other? That's what I would like to know. They're both from Honolulu. Could they have interacted?
Gio and Cody.
Yeah.
So
they both live in Honolulu.
Yes.
I mean, it's a big island.
Well, yeah, but like you could still run into. I don't know. I know like someone from every season of BB Can, and it's a big country. Like I don't know.
That's true.
So Gio, I believe, I think he might live on a military base. Like I think the reason why he lives in Hawaii is because his husband, I think, is stationed there. So I don't know how much he might be going out there to like explore the wild world of elevator sales to run into Cody. It could be a thing. I don't think it's full like Patrick and Allie, I helped you move in type of thing. But maybe they have friends in common if they actually like get to meet and talk with each other.
I don't know.
I don't think they know each other.
What if they like went surfing?
I refuse to believe they're friends, because
I don't think they're like friends, but like they could have interacted.
What if Gio's
but then James and Lindsay might know each other.
Look, I'm not gonna lie though. I don't think they're gonna get the opportunity to meet at the merge. Okay, one of them's gonna be gone.
Well, you pulled a real Carla there, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, either a threat or what was the other thing? Or can't vote, right? Or whatever. Yeah.
Sasha, any highlights for you from Coco?
Yeah, I really like Gio. I have to say, I was very surprised by how immediately drawn to him I was. When they were doing the sweat thing, James was like, "Not me, bye. I didn't come here for hard work." And then Gio was like, "Well, I didn't think I would do it." And then him and Ryan digging the X, I don't know why. It is one of the sweetest things I've ever seen. I love them both. Like crossing together, and they were like, in 30 minutes we figured it out, look at us. Also Gio and Carla's moment, I have to name, talking about their background and as queer folks, what that means, and queer Latinos, like what and how hard it's been. So I felt like that was a really nice moment that we don't always get so early in Survivor as well, where I know people were like, is Gio going home? Why are they giving us this?
Well, I mean, and look back, like look how far things have come that they would put two like Latino queer people on the same tribe starting a season, right? Like if you look back even 3 years, they probably would not have met until a swap or merge. Like they just would not have been put
or they wouldn't even
they would
been
never
on the same season.
Yeah, or they would be the one on their
Swati
season.
and Omer.
Yeah.
That team overall seems pretty strong. Although I do feel we saw a women's alliance crumble already. or I don't even know if you can call it a women's alliance. It's like a day one promise, right? That doesn't really count for anything. I do feel like Cassidy, Carla, and Lindsay, though, I don't know. I feel good about them. I feel good about that sticking power. I think that those are relationships that are going to last throughout at least the pre-merge. And then if James is safe with them, then I am nervous for Gio and Ryan, but we could get to a place where they don't end up having to go to tribal council.
Yeah.
So
I could see them winning every single challenge.
Yeah, they seem
okay.
like relatively holeless, I would say,
Mhm.
when it comes to like exact weaknesses. Yeah, I love the James stuff in particular. Like I love how with both James and Gio, it was like, okay, Ryan is obviously not only physically fit, but like wants to do all the physically fit stuff, right? When it's like sweat versus savvy, Ryan's like, great, we're gonna do sweat. And then you have James in the role of like, oh, I don't want to do this. And then Gio has to fall into the role of, okay, I guess I'm doing it. We saw that in the very beginning with the crates, where assumingly James is like, no, I'll do the puzzle. Gio, you do the crate. And then Gio sort of bags the challenge for them for a hot second. And then when they get back to camp, James is like, oh, I gave my all during that challenge. And Gio pushed a whole ass crate, is like, all right, I guess I'll do it. I guess I'll take this hole.
James really was like, I did not come here to be a physical asset,
Yeah.
so I will not be that. Like, I was very much drawn to James in that moment. But it really, like, I mean, why couldn't Lindsay be one of the people to dig? Why couldn't Carla be one of the people to dig? Why is it immediately assumed that if they do sweat, it's going to be men to do it? Like, I don't think that that's necessarily always going to be the strongest bet.
Yeah, especially because like, so the sweat versus savvy in the previous 2 seasons, right, were just like carrying water, which I guess is some sort of weight carrying, but this was just digging in the sand. Yeah, this seems to be like sand is equal opportunity, I suppose, when it comes to some sort of form of activity. I don't necessarily understand why they assumed like, all right, these people have to automatically do it, unless maybe they felt that their supplies were like going to be weighted or something underneath the sand. I will also say though, like, Ryan, good God, I hope his luck doesn't immediately run out with finding that bag in 30 minutes.
Yeah, because so that's the thing too, is, and this was all attributed to doing an X style, like starting in an X. I don't think an X is necessarily going to expose more of the grid at once. Like, I think the whole point is like, you have to have a systematic method of going through to make sure you don't miss a spot. But I just felt like an X doesn't seem like that much better on its face than doing like a plus sign. Right?
You needed an archaeologist, I'm telling you, to really excavate necessary, in the best way possible. You set up the lines, with the little strings, and you know.
Do you think if Jeff had done it, he would have done what he did with the starting line? Do you remember when he started the challenge? He was like, okay, everybody, here's the starting line. You think that's how he would have dug for the stuff in the sand?
Yeah.
Would not have gone well, I don't think.
I just loved how cheap that was. Of like, oh, okay, and this is the starting line.
It's like they truly had never considered, like, because in Survivor with the challenges, unlike the challenge, you get time to ask your questions about how it works. Everybody is well aware of how it goes, and you just know someone put up their hand and was like, "Well, where do we start from?" And Jeff was like, "Oh, I didn't think of that. Let me make a line. This is the starting line."
Here. Yeah.
Right here.
Definitely here. Yeah, we knew that.
Now
and the fact that they kept it in, y'all.
Yeah. Now the question is, can they negotiate with Jeff for the location of the starting line, much like he's able to be bargained with for sitting out the challenge?
I mean, they don't have a lot to work with to give Jeff at this point.
Yeah, they just don't take their flint.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we'll give you, if we win the flint, we'll give it to you. Just start us like 4 more feet into the jungle from the rest of the tribes.
Listen, if it was Gio, maybe that was needed. Poor guy.
Okay, but actually though, so the way that their boxes were staggered, one box, I don't remember which tribe it was, but was further away.
Blue, it was blue.
They had to go further. So just like a track race, when it's over, short distances especially, and they're going to be going around the curve, the outside curve, longer distance than the inside curve, stagger them. They did need a staggered start. Okay, so we're just trying to keep things fair here on Survivor.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they should consult with Noelle. She's Miss Track and Field.
True. Yes, the true Paralympian. Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into our game this week on the B&B. And look, it's been a tradition that we've been doing with these new era openers. Not only do we have 2 guests, but we do a game that's relatively new to the B&B, but we still have a lot of fun doing it. I know Kirsten in particular is very excited to see the 3rd time out for Survivor Categories.
Ooh.
Yay, I love categories.
All right, so how this is going to work for the uninitiated is I am going to give a list of categories. I'm also going to give a letter of the alphabet. It is up to these three over the course of a time limit that I'm going to set to write down something beginning with that letter for each category. Then, when the time expires, they're going to read their responses aloud. If we feel like they have gotten it within the realm, I would say, of a correct answer, they will get a point. If they write something down and one of their opponents writes something down, those two cancel each other out, no points. The person with the most points at the end of 2 rounds will be the winner. Are you excited for categories?
Woo!
Yes.
I'm about to hatch me a win.
I want the excitement that the
Positive.
cast had when they watched the challenge that Jeff commented on.
Oh yeah, 10 points for
Yellow.
Yellow, yeah. Woo!
They brought that into the tribal council, right? And Jeff
Well,
was like
that's-
incredulous.
Think about it. Mariah's a teacher. You do the call and response. She probably coached them all. Like when Jeff
No,
says,
it was Janine.
welcome, we say woo.
Janine was like, Baka. You know, she didn't know nobody's name. She's like, Baka.
Yeah, and then Gabler's like, Baka, oh, I miss my chicken, Baka, back home.
Oh, damn.
Baka, I hardly know her.
Yeah, I love the fact of the sort of house point system being incorporated into Survivor, but for just like other crap, you know, because I mean that's how the professors were in Harry Potter anyway. It was just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, you're sneaking around.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Mine is 10 points.
Start of the season, it's like 1 or 2 points. By the end of the season, it'll be like 150 points to Baka.
But the problem was, like, Baka got the 10 points, but then they go to tribal council, and Jeff is, like, so pissed off at them for being like, you think you're winning? You didn't do any
Yeah.
strategizing?
Yeah.
No, Probst
But I
is
was
like
mad at that
boomer energy of like, what? You all got a trophy? Absolutely not.
No, Gabler was big LeVar Ball energy, right? The never lost, never this. You lost. Take the L. And he's like, we won friendship. What are you saying?
We won
like
friendship!
Yeah, like I think
Did you? It's been
I
3
actually
days.
wrote down the quote because I was like, this is crap. It's legit. I know this man probably watched Ball in the Family and showed up. Because what are you? Nothing made sense. We played with friendship. Never lost heart, never lost friendship. Stop it.
What?
Well,
You
I don't-
sound crazy.
I don't know. I think
Mhm.
Gabler was more so paying attention to metal concerts than watching Ball in the Family.
Listen, it was giving LeVar Ball. Okay,
Oh
that's
my
all I
God.
needed.
All right.
Well,
let's...
no matter what, we'll win friendship in categories.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
No, the person who wins here definitely wins friendship. Maybe 10 points. I'll determine via aesthetic
Okay,
qualities.
fine. We'll see.
All right. So, first thing I am going to do is I am going to put in the chat the categories. So again, I'm going to give you a letter, and you are going to come up with one thing in each category that begins with that letter. Oh, and it did a
Oh
bad
my
line
God,
break.
that's not a list.
Yeah.
Run-on
but
sentence. I
yeah.
feel like it's Gabler Tribal Council. So I think I'm going to give you a minute and a half for this one because I think a minute is a bit too short. Though we found out
How many total categories are there?
there are
a
7
lot.
total categories.
Oh,
Okay.
7 is the lucky number
7.
here.
Okay. Whew. Oh my
Yep,
gosh.
that's 7.
An occupation you would hide from the
Oh,
other player.
Don't read it
Am
out
I not allowed
loud.
to read it
That's
out loud?
That's the surprise. I'm reading it. I'm going to read it to you, to the people as you are as you're filling them out.
Okay, but I thought I had a
Spoiler
question, but then I understood myself.
Okay. So I'm going to give you a minute and a half, and the letter that you're going to use for this round is N. N as in NECA. Your time starts now. Just trying to do a little bit of Owen there. So yeah, as Liana alluded to, one of the first categories, an occupation you would hide from other players in honor of what Cody was attempting to do with him fiercely casting shade at the other salesperson. Next up, the name of a Survivor contestant. I'll go with either first name or last name if they're called by that, perhaps nickname. Third, something found at camp, something you might find in a Survivor camp, even in the new era when supplies are sparse. You have 1 minute left. 1 minute left. Number 4, something Jeff Probst would tell you, maybe in a challenge, maybe a tribal council, something like sorry for you, or as Owen would reply, sorry for us, which was very awkward, but maybe more awkward than sorry for you. Number 5, something that would be at the last stage of a challenge. Something that when you go through a challenge, the final thing you have to do before Jeff throws his arms up and declares you the winner. You have 30 seconds left. 30 seconds left. Number 6, something you would have to do as part of a sweat task on day 1. So if you have to face the choice of sweat versus savvy, what do you think is something that producers would make you do, probably putting some sort of physical toll on you early on? 13 seconds left. And then finally, in honor of Mariah, a reason why you would be voted out first. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pencils down. Okay. How are we feeling right now, Liana?
Horrible.
If your face could tell a story.
Oh no. Can we just go back to having friendship? I
That
don't
was
like
hard.
that.
Yeah.
That was
Many
really
L's
hard.
for
Mike
me.
said 30 seconds left, and thank God I was muted because I literally screamed.
Yeah.
Does it have to be one word?
No, I mean, it could be a,
Oh, thank God.
I
Okay.
like a sentence. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to give you complete carte blanche here. So, Liana, we'll start with you. So, again, the letter was N. Give me the name of a Survivor contestant.
Nick Wilson.
Nick Wilson. Okay, Nick Wilson is indeed a Survivor contestant. Did any of the two of you write Nick Wilson?
No, because I wrote Nick Myrano.
Oh,
okay.
Oh!
Nice.
And I
Sasha,
even have Mayo written next to it. I can prove it.
Sasha, what did you write?
Natalie Anderson, baby.
Yes.
No. Come on, I'm through. And no 20 answers here. All right, next up, Liana, an occupation you would want to hide from other Survivor players.
Okay, this is based on what Mike was saying while you were explaining the categories. I wrote Nathan for you, writer.
What?
A writer specifically on the series Nathan for You.
I think that's pretty cheap.
I,
But I wrote necromancer, so
Oh my God.
That's very
Okay,
good.
that counts.
okay,
Why
I'm
does that count?
basic. I just wrote neurobiologist.
a real job. Cool.
Yeah, so I think, Liana, listen, as much as I love your out-of-the-box thinking in honor of Nathan Fielder, I don't know if Nathan for You writer...
All right. Well, look, I just want to be applauded for my creativity.
It
even if I
was
got a bad
really
answer.
good.
I will, though, give big ups to Kirsten. I can just imagine, like, now this dark sorcerer on the island. No,
That's
I'm
pretty
a
good.
truck
I
driver.
can't tell them I can raise the dead.
Yeah.
Sammy tosses it in the cremator, and I bring it back.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right,
God.
next up, Liana, something found at camp.
A net.
Oh.
Net, okay.
Oh no, Sasha, did you say net too? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all I could think of.
Well, you
Kirsten-
both get no points, and so do I because I have nothing.
Oh.
Nothing counts. That begins with an N.
Yeah, nothing.
I didn't.
is
If I
camp.
didn't write down nothing, if I'd written down nothing, maybe that could count.
That would have been really smart, especially in the
But,
new era.
I
All
didn't
right.
have time to even think about that question. It was rushed.
Yeah, I couldn't think of a fish name.
Oh yeah. That would have been good. I don't know what,
All right.
what fish start with N.
Liana, something Jeff Probst would say to you.
I wrote, no, sit down.
What are you doing? I
Wow,
need the whole
dis-
story.
Disciplinarian.
So
I
I panicked. Obviously, the correct response is nothing for you. But I couldn't think of it in the moment, so I wrote no reward for you.
Oh, that's
Okay, yeah, but
good.
that
Yeah.
okay.
I think it's a little bit of like Jeff Probst soup Nazi.
Yeah. I wrote not today, Satan.
The Bianca Del Rio of
Yeah.
Survivor.
Oh my god. I'll count it. I think I would love if Jeff Probst tries to like co-opt these sayings, right? Of like oh yeah, this is he's trying to talk to Survivor Devil, right? Like not today Survivor Satan. We're putting
Yeah.
less twists into our
The
season.
monster. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's Satan.
Yes, no, I love it. I think he would say that. I think it should be a point.
All right. Next up, something you would have to do at the last stage of a challenge, Liana.
I wrote net.
Net.
Untangle, untangle.
All right, here's a net. Can you untangle it?
Oh no.
I wrote noble puzzle.
A
Like
noble
a Chris
puzzle?
Noble, like a Chris Noble puzzle.
Well, because it's the end of a Survivor Immunity Challenge, and it is noble. The challenge itself is noble.
You must figure first. You must go through the tumultuous obstacle course, then solve my noble puzzle.
This is so
Listen,
bad.
we were rushed. We did not have a lot of time,
Yeah.
and these are hard questions.
It's like the
All right.
Renaissance Fair.
Sasha,
Mine is so bad. I put not, but only with an N. I took out the K.
all right. Well, that's just
I
Drop
nothing.
the
Just
K.
not.
Keep the N.
Absolutely no.
No, put in parentheses like knots, but with like the K in parentheses. I think that
Exactly.
counts.
Yeah, the K is silent.
K is
The
silent
Liana
anyway.
camp of categories.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how I play. I love
That's
that.
why when you did the writer, I was like, if Liana gets that, I get this.
All right. Next up, something you would have to do as part of a sweat task on day one, Liana.
Net, sweep the ocean.
All right. Well, we
I-
can tell that
I
Liana got
do
hung up
not
on something much like a
perform
net.
well under pressure, and you said 13 seconds, and I started panicking, and I had nothing written down, and I just wrote down net for both.
I wrote neck rolls because maybe you have to stretch because your neck
Oh,
is
that's
hurting.
good.
Okay,
it's
and
not.
Sasha,
I went for
neck
straight.
rolls.
I went for straight jokes. Okay, I need y'all to know this.
Okay.
I'm not dumb. Okay, I said nap
I mean, I like that
because that's what
answer.
I would do during a sweat
Can you
challenge.
imagine if it was like, okay, it's sweat versus savvy, we have to do sweat, and they're like, Sasha, it's you. You're doing it.
I'd be like, I dig a hole and just nap in it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, listen, they dug a nice X-shaped cavity that you could sleep in instead of building
I
a
feel
shelter.
like it's possible. Is the
After the
point.
challenge, she hatches.
Mhm.
All right. Well, hopefully this will get all of you on the board again with this last category. Liana, a reason why you would be voted out first.
Neglecting friendship.
Ooh,
Ooh, I like that.
I like it.
that.
I like it.
Kirsten.
I wrote never talk to anyone.
Oh, that would get you voted out.
Also
Yeah.
a good policy to have sometimes.
That's my life policy.
Not good at math.
Oh, and true to life.
Hey!
True to life.
Exactly.
All right, so after the first round, we're fairly close. We are neck roll, if you will. Liana's at 3. Kirsten and Sasha are both at 4.
Yes.
Ooh,
Okay.
I think I
let's
should have gotten the
go.
point for neck rolls, but it's fine. I get it.
Well, the field is wide open now
Why
going
is
into this
nap
last one.
not counting. I'm sad.
We're still going to do the same 7 categories.
Okay.
And your new letter is going to be, let's see. Ooh, okay. Your letter is H. H as in heroes, healers, hustlers. Your time starts now. So while we're doing this, I can talk a bit about the exit interview I got to do with Mariah. Of course, I'm doing exit press again over at parade.com, and I'm very excited. And Mariah was really awesome to speak to. I'm a little sad that we actually didn't get to see more of her. I do feel like maybe just because things were so straightforward at that tribal council, that, you know, we didn't get a lot from her perspective, more so from the Ellie side of things. And because the tribe wasn't really doing a lot of strategizing, we didn't get much introspection into that. 1 minute left. But she talked about a few interesting things. She said that she was committed to the women. She said that was something that she just like wanted to see happen. And so she thought it would reflect really well in the outside world. And so she was down to clown for, even though she's afraid of them, until the very end. 40 seconds left. And with Sammy, she said that they just had similar vibes. Apparently, Sammy was like a little high energy, a little bit off the wall as well, which is really exciting and something that we didn't necessarily see. So she also talked about how she and the women looked for advantages. They actually went on like a group idol hunt together and couldn't find anything. 20 seconds left. So yeah, it's tough. Like Mariah seemed like a great personality. I will admit at tribal council when she's like, yeah, we all won, etc., it didn't necessarily seem like maybe this type of game was the game for her, but I'm still so happy to have seen her and her story play out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up.
Oh no.
I'm embarrassed.
All right. Well, then, Sasha, let's start with you. The embarrassment of riches, perhaps. So, again, your letter was H, the name of a Survivor contestant.
Hatch.
Yeah,
I'll
that
count it.
counts.
I'll
Oh,
count
thank
it.
God. Thank God.
Last name
Hatch Tommy
count.
Richard.
I couldn't remember anyone for some. It just
Plus,
blocked.
plus, I think the players in All Stars did call him Hatch as
Thank
well.
you.
So, like,
Thank you. I needed it. Thank
Kirsten,
you.
what about you?
I wrote Hannah Shapiro.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
that
whoa.
counts.
Oh,
And
okay.
Liana.
Hoffbeck, Chrissy.
Ooh, okay,
I'll
so we
count
both
that.
did it. Okay.
Okay, whew. That's why
All
I wanted
right.
Sasha's to count.
You're so
Sasha-
transparent.
Sasha, an occupation you would hide from the other players.
Horticulturist.
Why?
As in someone who does
Culturalist.
topiaries?
Yes, because I would be so good at building and creating that I would immediately be someone that they want to come for. A target. I forgot the word target because I'm in H's only.
H mode.
H mode, okay. So yeah, I feel like I would immediately, and I'd be good at eating. So Survivor South Africa chappies, where I would be like, oh, as someone that knows how to forage, I'm already getting better nutrition than you.
Wait, like, are horticulturists good at
In my
knowing where
mind,
things are?
yes. The point
I
is
feel
that
like
is
you would
all
be an
part of
asset.
my.
It's an occupation that starts with an H.
Yeah,
That's true.
What
And I will
is
give
the
give
reason?
kudos to that. Kirsten, what about you?
I wrote holistic medicine practitioner.
Oh, that's good.
Oh my
yes.
gosh.
You could be
Yeah,
a
I
target
think-
for multiple reasons. If people believe in that, then they will think you're really smart. And if they don't believe in that, they'll be like, I have to get you out because I don't believe in what you do.
Which
Right, we
is
sort of
gotta go.
We watched it with Cowboy and Survivor Cook Islands, that it does have precedent before in the game. Liana.
I wrote hide and seek champion because
Absolutely not.
yes, yeah. First of all, let's move out of our boomer mindsets thinking that we all need a corporate 9-to-5 job. Okay, the reigning champion of hide and seek is out there somewhere making a living, getting brand deals with Nike, sneaking around on their sneakers. Okay, I think it's 100% valid.
And that is not a real job. Name one person who gets paid for playing hide and seek.
I mean, if you're in a Mr. Beast video,
Thank you.
That's not a job. That's one time you're in a video.
listen, maybe
Get out
he
of
likes
town.
you.
This is absurd.
Maybe they're trying to make a
Bigfoot.
career out of it, and it just doesn't exist at this point.
Bigfoot. If I saw Bigfoot, I would simply take a well-lit in-focus photo of him.
No. The hide and seek world championships.
So, but what does this involve? Like, is there an arena and they're like high tier best ability?
I mean,
This
I
is
know
like
that
if she had
it's like a
written
game of
Hunger Games
tag.
champion. Like, this is not
Okay,
real.
That's fictional. How
You
dare
should have written
you?
Hunger Games writer.
Hunger Games former writer. No,
Yeah, what's her
Cover
name?
writers,
Joni
Collins on
Newsome or whatever.
Survivor.
look, I'm just saying there are YouTubers who do a ton of hide and seek
Yes.
content. Look no further than the Sidemen. And if you're really good at it, you're gonna be out there
okay.
getting idols, hiding and listening in. It's the Ben Drebergens of the world, the Tonys who are there just listening. That is something you want to hide for sure.
If hide and seek gets it, horticulturist better be getting the point. That's all.
Thank
I'm
You know what?
saying.
I'll give it to both of you.
Thank God.
Well, then I want to go back and get the point for neck rolls.
No.
No.
You roll your
Take
neck
that.
when it hurts.
And
No.
I took a nap and I didn't get that point.
I will also say, though, I love that all three of you went in such different directions when on Big Brother we had a hypnotherapist who literally lied about their job.
I blocked Big Brother already from my mind.
Yeah, I'm
Please.
done with it. Like, the fact that
Couldn't
Big
be
Brother and
me.
Survivor are on at the same time right now feels wrong. And so, to me, it's already over.
It's against my
right.
religion.
Yes.
That's why you haven't gone to work since. All right, next up, something found at camp, Sasha, with an H.
Hat.
Okay, yeah. How many
Yeah.
Survivor contestants have worn hats? Kirsten.
Exactly.
A happy tribe.
I mean, they're pretty.
Baka
I
was a
guess.
happy tribe and
That's
they were at
true.
camp.
And
First
you
weekend
really
wasn't
try to
very
come
nice.
for us for our jobs? You would stop
No, only
it.
hide and seek. Horticulturalist was a great one. I was
Oh,
on your
okay,
side
okay.
from step one.
Cool.
It was only Liana's I didn't like.
Oh man.
All right, Liana,
Sorry,
what did you
we
say?
still have
I
friendship, though.
said heat because there's heat from the fire and there's also heat on the contestants that screw up in the
Ayo.
challenges. So it's a
It's
double
giving
meaning.
reach.
It should give 2 points because it has double meaning.
No.
Yes.
All right, well, now you overstretched your limits by asking me to give you 2 points.
Yeah, it's giving reach.
All right,
Okay.
next up, Sasha, something Jeff Probst would say to you starting with an H.
Hurry up.
Hurry up.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Yeah, that's actually
Kirsten?
good.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, fellow kids.
Hello, guys.
Howdy.
Oh, wait, is that
No,
bad,
no,
Kirsten?
no. I can't say guys. I don't say.
This time you said come on up, which I thought was
Yeah.
interesting.
I
Hello.
said hip to the hop, Vaca.
Get out of town.
Come on. This is
No.
a negative point.
Yeah. Negative point.
Yeah, this is not Roundhouse. Like, why would Jeff Probst say hip to the hop, Baka?
No,
I
this is
wrote
negative.
down hip hop, and then I was like, why would Jeff say hip hop? So my correction was hip to the hop, because like he's telling him to like get out of here, like hip to the hop, Vaca, get out of here.
Can't breathe. I feel
It's
like
not
this
a
is
phrase.
negative.
Nobody says
How
hip to
did
the
you
hop.
think of this?
Hip to the hop.
Hip to the hop. Get out of here. Grab your torches. Hip to the hop. Good night.
Yeah.
End it now. Put us out of our misery.
All right, Sasha, next up, something that would be at the last stage of a challenge.
High ropes.
High ropes.
Yeah, as a short human, everything's high, so normal ropes would be high. So you literally would have to jump
Yeah,
and
it's
swing.
giving reach.
How?
I mean,
much
she
like
is
you,
short.
much like you for the ropes. Yeah, it's high.
The
bit of a
ropes
reach.
are high. What is the issue? I don't understand.
High ropes.
What do you do with the ropes?
There, you have to swing like Tarzan across the damn rope. I don't understand. To me, this was my most normal answer.
All right, Kirsten, what did you say?
You'd have to hold a plate with a ball on it.
Oh, that's
Okay, I count that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
technically. I mean, it is sort of like both the first and last change of a
Yeah,
challenge.
I think if it's the whole challenge, it is still the last stage of the
Technically,
challenge.
yeah, it's the first, second, and last stage all in one. Liana, what did you say?
I wrote hanging puzzle.
Oh, there
Yeah,
we
for
go.
real.
That is
answer.
correct.
That's a pretty noble puzzle, if I
Oh,
may say so
no.
I
myself.
don't know how much nobility is found in the hanging puzzle.
Noble.
All right. Something you would have to do as part of a sweat task on day one, Sasha.
heave sand.
Okay, that's perfect. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
Kirsten.
You'd have to hold water.
Yep, that's exactly what they had to do. Liana.
I said hardworking, comma B. You're gonna
You
be
should have just written
hardworking.
hard work. Why
Okay,
didn't you just
well,
write hard work?
Look, I didn't think of that.
I think Liana's out of the running for
I mean,
category.
she technically is, but I'm still going to count
How
it for her
dare
as a
you.
point.
Yes.
Hard,
That's
yeah, that's what I
hilarious.
wrote. Oh, I misread. Oh, my handwriting. It's just it's so bad. I wrote
First I
hard
thought you
work.
wrote
but
it.
then
hard
I
work.
get high
No, I
ropes.
wrote hard work. I wrote hard work.
But then I better get high ropes because come on.
No!
Hard work is one word.
You also, I thought you initially wrote hard work, comma B, and I'm like, is this another hip to the hop phrase that I don't know about?
Be hard work.
I'm a hardworking B.
You can't live hard work if you aren't.
Yeah,
hard
against
work.
all known laws of aviation, bees shouldn't be able to fly, but they're
Okay,
hardworking.
B-movie.
This is.
Is that those the
going
first
on
words
here?
of B movie that you were quoting, Liana?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a meme.
All right. Yeah. B movie does work hard if you speed it up by 2 times every time they say the word B. All right. Finally, now I will say, Liana, you are out at this moment. You have 6 points. Kirsten and Sasha are both tied at 9.
Oh,
so this
shoot.
might be the determining
What?
factor.
69.
There you
Nice.
go. Sasha, a reason why you would be voted out first, beginning with the letter H.
Haughty nature.
Oh,
Like
Hottie?
you're a hottie, or
I
like
assume
you
she
made
like
hot-
HAUGHT.
Oh,
like,
hottie.
you're better than
You're
You're like,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
a
yeah,
line
yeah,
never.
yeah, yeah.
Pump, pump, pump. Harum,
Yes.
harum.
Hum, hum,
Yes.
hum.
I wrote
Harum,
hard
harum.
to know.
Ah,
Like you're hard to get to know.
Just
So
Oh,
you
like
like it
somebody
okay.
that I used to know. I
right.
wrote heckling your tribe.
Oh, that's good.
That's another good one.
Yay!
That's
I
a
did
good
it.
one.
Like, you can't do the puzzle.
You suck. Get off the
That
field.
is actually why I would get voted.
His pants fell down.
Pull your pants up.
Pull your pants up, James.
I'd be like, you're an idiot.
All
I
right,
don't
well,
think that's heckling. That's just, I guess, is heckling screaming insults? Because I guess,
Yes,
I mean,
I
that-
think
that
by
is- It is.
definition.
yeah,
there
okay.
doesn't need to be creativity behind it.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought, yeah.
Well, I will break this win in two and give you 2 Vs to Kirsten and Sasha. You have both
Aw.
High
won.
five.
Liana, very spirited, not so noble as the puzzle, but still very good effort all around.
I think I did a great job, and I'm really proud of myself.
You did well.
Thank you. I did a great job, and we should all walk away from this knowing what a great job I did.
Well, we're going to hip to the hop soon and
New
leave this
friendship.
podcast. But before we do, of course, we do this at the end of every B&B. Draw a bit of a spotlight onto causes that are outside of the game and of this podcast proper. Sasha, Kirsten, either one of you want to pimp something out this week?
I'm gonna be a little bit, though charitable, also self-interested. I am running a 5K next weekend for Run for the Cure, which does breast cancer research. For every $75 that's raised, it can put a breast cancer patient into a clinical trial. The link is in my pinned tweet on Twitter at Kirsten Said What if you want to donate to Run for the Cure.
Yes, absolutely. And that is the ultimate sweat task, I would say, is having to contribute in
Yeah.
that 5K. And hopefully you'll be able to take a nap afterwards and probably have to do some neck
Yes.
rolls.
I will be doing neck rolls and taking a nap afterwards. Don't worry.
Hard running,
Hard running.
Comma B.
comma B.
Be hard
Hip
running.
to the hop, Kirsten. Hip to the hop.
I'll be hip to the hop next weekend.
Oh my goodness. Well, this was an absolute delight. I'm so happy that you both got to come on here, taking some time out of just looking through all the Adam Levine DM memes to come on and talk about this. Sasha was almost making an that that effing body reference before when talking about Ryan. But I'm so happy
Listen,
that
that body of yours is insane.
The 7th member of the tribe. Yeah.
but I'm so excited to have gotten the opportunity to have you two come on and truly get into some nonsense on the B&B. We'll go around the horn and give your plug for mess magnets and stuff beyond that, because I know that you both are a different B&B, booked and blessed. Sasha, how can people follow you in what you're doing?
Yes, in addition to the mess magnets, which Kirsten and I do every week over on Rob Has a Podcast / mess feed. Go find us. Lots of nonsense over there, and I cover She-Hulk over on post-show recaps on the Everything is Super feed with Jason Reed, where lots of mess again, because She-Hulk is just such a fun show to cover, and lots of just, I don't know, influencer mess. Can't believe that's in a Marvel show. And I cover over on Silent Podcast, Never Have I Ever, with Chappelle, as well as Amazing Race will be starting soon now that I'm back from travels. So check all of that over on Silent Podcast. And I guested on Crime Scene this week as well, where we talked about the Indian butcher. So a mess again, but like a very gory 3rd episode, worth watching. Everything else, I don't know, but lots of fun to go check all of that out. And if you're lost, just follow me on Twitter at funsize_04 to know everything else I'm up to. Thank you so much for having me on. Oh, so much fun.
All right, Kirsten, what about you?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Over on BoJack Horsepod, Lindsay Wilson and I are now breaking down Tuca and Birdie, which is really fun if people want to go check that out. And I don't want to say anything for sure because nothing is confirmed, but there might be reason to turn your eyes to the Hot Dummies on Islands feed in the next little bit. So just keep that in mind, everybody. And you can follow me everywhere at Kirsten Said What, including twitch.tv/Kirsten Said What.
Liana.
Yes. Well, I'm hip to the hop, as we all know, on Twitter at Liana RHAP, podcasting about Masked Singer. Pui and I released our first episode, as well as my sister and I did one episode on Lego Masters. So we're going to be checking in periodically throughout the season, like we did previously, which was really fun and very enjoyable. So I actually really enjoyed the first episode of Lego Masters. And then, yeah, Mike, we're doing the Big Brother. What are we recording right now? We're doing the Big Brother B&B finale pod as well. So that's going to be, we're recording on Tuesday after the finale on Sunday.
Yep, we're recording with Maggie Morgan, and we'll be able to break down. And just to give a timeline, the last time Liana and I did a B&B, that was 2 hours before Kyle's comments got outed to the rest of the house. So a lot has happened since then. Of course, we're talking on the day of the Big Brother finale, and I'm going to be doing exit press with the final 3, as well as America's Favorite House Guest. Unless America's Favorite House Guest happens to be one of the final 3, I'm putting that out tonight as well. Actually, before I go to my plugs, Liana, I feel like I have to do this with you every season. Like, what's going on with the Masked Singer this season? They're doing like 5 different masks every episode.
Okay, so they're doing only one person moves on from the each episode. So everybody gets unmasked except for one person. But the way that they describe the format in the articles and everything, the press that they put out is different than what we actually saw in the first episode. So we don't actually know what's going on. And then also the just one person just have to win their way through. We don't know if there's going to be like, okay, we have one finalist from like this group. Now we're starting like a brand new group. We're going to have 3 finalists. They all go to the finals. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. In fact, we referenced your article, your parade article, in there because we were trying to figure it out. We genuinely didn't know. So we're pulling resources. So look, it's going to be a ride and we'll figure it out as we go.
Absolutely. And a fantastic ride with yourself and Puya. I mentioned before I did my interview with Mariah, which is up at parade.com. Also got the opportunity to talk Amazing Race, not only in podcast form, but I got the opportunity to interview the first team eliminated from the Amazing Race, which was incredibly fun. Without going into it too much, I think we were very much robbed of seeing them more on screen, but we got into all things Scramble, both in podcast form and in article form. Just mentioned the Big Brother coverage, which will be coming out in the next couple of days. And then over on post-show recaps, I'm getting back to House of the Dragon. We'll be kicking off the back half of season 1 with its first big time jump, covering Lord of the Rings as well. So many things going on. Follow everything I do at a Mike Bloom type. So that's going to do it for our opening episode here of the B&B. This was a ridiculous amount of fun. I am so excited for the season to start, but even more excited, Liana, to get to do this with you every week. Of course, this week, Survivor 43 may not have Canadians in it, but we were able to welcome one in the form of Kirsten. That trend will continue with one of those Canadians that Kirsten knows. Big Brother Canada 10 winner Kevin Jacobs is going to join us next week on the B&B. Yeah, to tackle this 90-minute episode of Survivor 43. To Liana's point, we don't know if there's a double boot here, if it's just going to be a little bit of like an extra long episode. Not entirely sure, but regardless, with the winter baby, Kevin Jacobs is going to be a lot of fun regardless. If you have any game ideas, send them in to us, rhapbnb@gmail.com, the letter B, the letter N, the letter B, or hashtag RHAPBNB on social media. Any and all games we are very receptive of. There are certain weeks when we're sort of digging in the sand, waiting to finally hit gold. And if you can provide this to us, so we can only need to do the equivalent of 30 minutes of digging, sometimes that works really well. And of course, we love everyone who's out there listening and supporting us in any way, shape, or form. So that's going to do it for this week. Next week, Liana and I will be back with Kevin Jacobs breaking down episode 2 of Survivor 43. Thank you all so much for listening. Until next week, we'll check you out at your next stay.